India, a land of rich culture, heritage, and immense wealth, became a focal point of European interest in the 15th century. Today, we're diving into how the arrival of European powers transformed the course of Indian history. It all began with the Age of Exploration. The 15th century marked a turning point in global history as European powers, driven by the desire for wealth, spices, and new trade routes, set sail for distant lands. Among them were Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, France, and eventually Britain. Their arrival in India wasn't just a chance encounter, it was a calculated move that would change the subcontinent forever. Let's start with the Portuguese. In 1498, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, made landfall in Calicut on the Malabar coast. His arrival marked the first direct sea route between Europe and India, circumventing the arduous overland routes controlled by the Ottoman Empire. The Portuguese were quick to establish their dominance, setting up trading posts and fortresses along the western coast, including the key city of Goa, which became their colonial capital in India. Over the next century, the Portuguese strengthened their presence, controlling the spice trade and enforcing their power with a formidable navy. However, their reign was not unchallenged. In the early 17th century, the Dutch entered the fray with the establishment of the Dutch East India Company, or VOC. Unlike the Portuguese, the Dutch were more focused on the spice trade rather than territorial conquest. They set up trading posts across India, particularly in the southern region, but their main interests lay in Indonesia's Spice Islands. The Dutch were successful in breaking the Portuguese monopoly, but their influence in India remained relatively limited compared to the next two European powers. The French were the next to arrive, founding the French East India Company in 1664. They established strongholds in Pondicherry, Chandernagore, and other parts of South India. The French sought to expand their influence, often clashing with the British, who were rapidly becoming the dominant power in the region. Under the leadership of Joseph-François Dupleix, the French East India Company pursued ambitious plans to expand its control, leading to intense military and diplomatic confrontations with the British. Arguably, the most significant European power to arrive in India was the British. The British East India Company was established in 1600 and initially focused on trade. But as the Mughal Empire began to weaken in the 18th century, the British saw an opportunity to expand their influence. The turning point came in 1757 with the Battle of Plassey, where Robert Clive led the British to victory over the Nawab of Bengal. This victory marked the beginning of British political control in India, which would eventually lead to the colonization of the entire subcontinent. Over the next century, the British East India Company transitioned from traders to rulers, eventually leading to direct British Crown rule after the revolt of 1857. The arrival of European powers in India was a complex and transformative period. It laid the foundation for the colonial era, drastically altering India's political, social, and economic landscape. From the Portuguese footholds on the coast to the British Empire's dominance, the legacy of this era is still visible in modern India. Thanks for joining us on this journey through history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful videos.